What only exists because of people's stupidity? Well, Reddit, the day has finally come that I can share this gem. This was in front of a Catholic school I did some work on. This is not the only tree in the area. It's not even the only tree in front of a parking space. How did this sign come to be? The world may never know. This reminded me of something. At work we have a wet floor sign that someone didn't see and tripped over once. Now we have a traffic cone that says caution, wet floor sign ahead that gets put before it. We're all waiting for the day someone trips over the cone. The tree is very dangerous. It attacks when it is startled. The warning on strollers: do not collapse while infant is seated. The labels on Superman costumes that say wearing this does not enable you to fly. Shh, you thought as you decided to read the label of your new Superman costume while you're free falling off a 50-story roof and you can't seem to activate the flight function of your new gear. The effing message on my in-dash display on my Honda Fit. Yes, I know I am responsible for the operation of this motor vehicle. Imagine the car not telling me that every time I start it, me getting in an accident, and suing Honda for not telling me that I'm responsible for the car I'm driving. Sorry man, my cool knife set didn't say I couldn't stab some 67 times with them, so I just had to do it. It's the manufacturer's fault for not telling me not to. I worked at Cabela's for years and they carry a product called the butt out, and it's a tool a hunter would use to remove the anus from a deer. On the back of the packaging in the bottom corner is a warning stating, not for sexual use. I looked it up so you the people don't have to. I have so many questions now. Are they disposable? Or can you remove the anus and use it again? How do you get the anus off of that thing? Does the anus just slide out of the deer, or do you have to pull really hard? Do all mammals have removable anuses? We know someone pulled their own anus out, and the company had to slap the label on. Pretty sure we are talking about the redneck analog to the first one passing out gets an eyebrow shaved off. Warning labels telling you not to eat things that are not food. Warning, this battery is not a good source, not by itself. No, but as part of this complete breakfast. Do not place child in shopping bag. What if I'm bartering it? Fruit roll boxes that warn remove plastic wrap before eating. You're supposed to remove those. r/usernamet checks out. The warning sticker on lawnmowers telling you not to touch the blades while they are in motion. Many warning labels in general. There are toilet brushes with warnings saying, not for personal hygiene on them. Supposedly, I've never seen this personally. Some snowblowers come with a warning label saying, do not use snowblower on roof. That means that some idiot hauled a snowblower up to the roof of his house, almost killed himself with it, and tried to sue the manufacturer for his own stupidity. Many warning labels in general. For external use only is one I always found funny. I had trash bags that were printed all over with do not put trash bags in your baby's cradle. I genuinely lost some sleep over which specific lawsuit the company had that required them to print that. Addendum. Instructions unclear. Shoved up rectum. Do not attempt to stop the chainsaw blade with your hands. Before replacing the fan belt, turn off the engine. Spinny boy must touch. Those stickers were put there by Big Moa that doesn't want you to have any spinny boys you can touch. Don't listen to those selfish, manipulating schemers. Touch the spinny boy and you'll understand why it's a secret they fought so hard to hoard amongst themselves. Products liability defense lawyer here. I don't know if you can really blame stupidity. Instead, there are some super smart consultants who sit around at think tanks trying to come up with some new design to make sure XZY industry organization stays in existence. Just think, if a big didn't think you know what we need pictures on the warning labels. Quick everyone, design a new warning label or use our model example. By the way, that design is copyrighted, but we'll sell you the stickers for the low price of $25 a sticker. Oh, and since we came up with a new design, you'll need to buy our new publication that shows what we really smart people came up with. The law in Pennsylvania that specifically states that you cannot barter infant children just goes to show that many, if not most, laws are written because someone did something truly horrible and got away with it because it wasn't illegal at the time. Your regulations are written in blood. This happened with Buddha's rules for monks. No sex with women. Okay, no sex with men either. Okay, no sex with animals either. Looking at you, Fred. Lawmakers have a finite time to work their laws correctly to prevent loopholes and immorality. People looking to circumvent the laws have all the time in the world to figure out what's technically allowed. Combine that with how it can be tricky to find mistakes in your own work, and you will have bad stories happening. The past few years have hopefully made it clear. If you think you don't need a law, because come on, who would do that? And if they did, how would they get away with it? You are wrong. It is stupid. The people that made and backed that law are stupid. It's my infant, and I should be able to barter them for a couple of crack rocks if I want to. /s. Dumb a government infringing on our rights. I thought this was America SMH. This sign at the London Luton Airport. What the hell happened here? Have you ever seen food prices in airports? Yum. Looks delicious. Right. Challenge accepted. TBF. Sago palm leaves are way sharper than they look. Very stabby. Warning labels on electric appliances warning you not to use them in a bathtub. It's actually pretty hard to get an electrical hit in a bathtub from a device, if all things are as they should be. Yes, the all things being properly installed GFCIs, modern circuit breakers, etc. The reason we have rules that revolve around electricity when near water is that it is really effing easy to get electrocuted because of water. The tag on the iron that says, "Do not iron clothes while wearing them." I'm late for work, but my shirt is too wrinkled. Let me just press the iron against myself. How bad could it be? No good. It's full of steam. This actually did happen to me. I had a job interview, running late and realized my collar was a bit wonky, so I ironed it. While I was wearing it, I ended up with a V-shaped burn that only starting hurting during the interview. 10/10ths would not recommend. Got the job. Maybe put a cardboard or book underneath the shirt, won't hurt, but still a stupid thing to do. My GF tried to use a steamer on her shirt while she was wearing it and still has a little bit of a scar from the burn mark. How am I still single? But she has a so. My dad is a very smart man who worked all the way up the company ladder of a major corporation, put himself through college in his 40s, and is the most loving and hilarious man you'll ever meet. Here's a picture of him from 8 years ago. He has also gone to the hospital multiple times for slicing his fingers while using a mandolin to cut onions. Flipping mandolins. I'm a chef and have to use these all the time. They make my a-hole clench. Even when I use the guard, I'm paranoid I'll slice my finger off. I had a high school English teacher who came to school with a mark on her neck one day for doing that exact thing. Damn, if that were me, I think I'd pass it off as a hickey and not a burn/welt. I might get written up by the principal, maybe inappropriate for school, but at least they'd think I still meet the basic intelligence quotient required to be a teacher. Yeah, ironing. People do that, though. They'll try to touch up a crease really quick without having to take off the article of clothing, especially on a sleeve or a pant leg. Some people do that once, I hope. Darwin Awards. You're not wrong. The phrase, "Do not try this at home," but you know that some idiot at home will indeed try this at home. Joke's on you. I will try this at the street, so I'm outside, and I'm prepared to laugh at that idiot on YouTube. The WWE has pushed the "do not try this at home" message for decades. But if kids didn't try it at home, we'd have run out of professional wrestlers 30 years ago. I always thought it was a backhanded warning anyway. When the Hardy Boys got their first serious push, they ran segments with home video from their backyard wrestling days as kids. That's basically saying, see, kids, if the Hardys can make it from the backyard to the WWE, so can you. I'm pretty sure that was an insurance thing, so that if some kid did try to give his brother a stone cold stunner, the parents couldn't sue WWE. The phrase, "Do not take medication X if you are allergic to medication X." California's Prop 65. It says everything sold in California must have a label warning consumers that the product is made with ingredients/components known by the state of California to cause birth defects or cancer, unless the seller can prove that the item does not contain such components. However, nobody can actually say if anything causes cancer or not. So if you sell something in California, you must either pay a laboratory to test everything in your product, then provide reports stating that each element does not cause cancer, or you can buy a 1-cent sticker and slap it on your packaging. As a result, everything sold in California, everything, has that sticker on it, because why wouldn't you just slap the sticker on? We voted for this. I had to explain this whole thing to somebody in a Trader Joe's once. He was really worried that the cocoa powder causes cancer, and I learned that I apparently look like a Trader Joe's employee. I don't wear red polos in Target and I don't wear Hawaiian shirts in Trader Joe's to avoid those exchanges. So this is why my Fender guitars warned me that they might give me cancer. And here I was getting paranoid. I was just about to make the same comment about my ample mayo. Lol, my father would always say, be careful son, that will kill you in California. In the user manual for RVs it specifies that the driver must remain in the driver's seat at all times when the RV is in motion, because someone thought that cruise control was autopilot and went to take a shower while on the freeway and crashed. If I remember right, part of their argument against the company was that the manual did not say he had to remain in the driver's seat when cruise control was being used. Wasn't that also a plot point in Point Anchorman 2? Ike. Yes. And the Simpsons school please. He fell asleep at the wheel, survived a terrible crash, cooked up this craziness with a lawyer, and won a lawsuit because the lawyer felt there was an opportunity because the owner's manual wasn't specific enough in the cruise control operation. Ike. It was called autopilot before cruise control. If that's true, I could see the confusion. This has been a popular urban legend since the invention of cruise control. Do not open door in flight. I was recently on a flight where I was seated in the exit row, closest seat to the door. I felt the craziest, ongoing urge in flight to reach over and try to open that door. I'm not suicidal or homicidal, just had this crazy urge. I believe they call that the call of the void, or appel du vide. I get the same thing when I'm driving and see those concrete highway dividers that start on an angle. I think to myself, I wonder just how bad things would be if I ramped my car off this at 100 km/h. I fly a lot for work. You're not crazy, or we both are effing nuts. I get that urge too. Usually not scared of heights, but an aircraft where the exit is in an aisle, like next to the lavatories. I get so effing paranoid that I'll hit turbulence and bump against the door, causing it to fly open and me to fall to my death. Even though I know it's physically impossible. Regular exit row doors don't usually bother me though, probably cause I'm strapped into a seat. Penicillin. Because someone didn't bother to clean the culture dish. The annoying thing about that one is people had known for a while that bread had some magical property that helped prevent infection. Nobody bothered to test it out. We just had one guy stumble onto it because he didn't bother to clean a contaminated sample once he was done testing. TBH, shoddy lab safety / standards has led to a lot of unexpected discoveries. Antibiotics are just the big important one. R/FASIPAM is a direct consequence of human stupidity. There are also a lot of dumb people in R/FASIPAM. Since most of the posts are people getting whooshed, I left that sub in exasperation. There are actually some good jokes in there. Problem is no one in that sub has a sense of humor. Wendy Williams show. I used to watch it when I was a teen. Watched an episode last night that aired last week. F me, she's on some weird age, barely stringing a sentence together, long pauses and kept bleating. Think what you want, I don't care. That weird shiz called Coke. Is that a reality show? Or modern American politics? I blame shows like this for the anxiety of people close to me. Multiple people in my life are positive everyone around them judges the shout of them and picks apart their every move because they're used to seeing people do it to celebrities on TV. Leave people the F alone and let them do their own thing. But more importantly, don't deal out hits. If you can't effing take them in return. Wendy. Label on Swiss chainsaw. Do not attempt to stop chain with hands and genitals. All those drug commercials that tell you not to take said drug if you're allergic to it. Imagine knowing you're allergic to a drug and still taking it. Well, if I take it, I break out in hives. If I don't take it, I effing die. What to do? What to do? But let's be honest, it's more likely, well, if I take it, I may have trouble breathing and might die, but if I do take it, I will have a rock hard erection for the next 3 hours. What to do? What to do? I actually found out I'm allergic to penicillin on accident. I have been taking it whenever I end up getting sick for as long as I remember. But this last time I got hit with strep throat fairly hard. I was given 2 rounds of penicillin and ended up having a full body HESF rash that lasted nearly 3 weeks before completely clearing up. It kicked my strep, but I looked like a walking finger painting experiment the way the rash covered me. Come to find out, my dad became allergic in his early 20s, just as I had. Told my doctor about the reaction and had allergy testing done, and I showed no reaction to penicillin. So it was assumed it was either the high amount of penicillin or something else weird. Side effects include death. Meetings that could have been emails. There was a washing machine I saw in Thailand, and it said, please do not put children in here. Easily preventable diseases. True. One of my fav arguments from anti-vaxxers is that insert disease here hasn't killed anyone in decades. It doesn't occur to them that the reason for that is because before their generation people have been smart enough to vaccinate for those diseases. Multi-level marketing, aka pyramid schemes. While we are on the topic, would you like to buy some Cutco brand knives? When I was a stupid teenager, I went for a job interview. Despite not having a resume at all, they immediately offered me a position. All I needed to do was buy $600 worth of knives and go door to door selling them. It was foolproof, and I was going to make so much money. Then, my father refused to let me take that job. I was so angry at him. How dare he? Of course. Now I see how much of a scam it was, and how great it was that my father didn't let me fall into it. I also don't think the scam would work so well nowadays. Imagine sending a teenager door to door brandishing knives. I doubt my teenage son make it to 3 houses before the police grabbed him. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a reverse funnel system. Panic buying. This is really a problem. I order supplies for a medical clinic, and we are starting to get back ordered on we actually need to treat people, all because of panic buying over the coronavirus. Same. We need about 1,000 more N95 masks there one time use. Anybody has flu-like symptoms now, and that would be the minimum to make sure we don't have to turn people away and send them to the ER over the next few weeks. We have multiple clinics, and all our suppliers are saying 6 to 8 month lead times. Meanwhile, dumb fess are walking around the grocery store with them on their head because they get too hot and it's hard to breathe through. Same problem at my insulation job. We need 3-meter N100 or P100 cartridges to deal with asbestos removals. It needs to be removed so people can move back into their houses, but we can't get the cartridges soon enough. We are still on 2 months of back order for our cartridges. We also need dust masks for our new construction jobs for dealing with silica dust. And don't get me started on those. We only had 1 case in Minnesota as far as I know, and people are still panic buying here. If you see stuff on Amazon for ridiculous prices, I recommend doing the following. Click report incorrect product information. Tell us about the issue. Pull down other product details. In what's the issue? Pull down pricing issue. And for the notes, let them know someone's price gouging. Because 3-meter masks do not cost $335 for a 10 count. That horrible bunch of nuts. The other day my sister was complaining that there was no hand soap in the supermarket, so the next day ordered 10 bottles and 17 packs of antibacterial wet wipes. She doesn't seem to understand that there wouldn't be a shortage if it wasn't for people like her. Yes, although not all people that panic buy are stupid. Once enough people start to panic buy stuff, everyone else has to as well, otherwise the shops will have sold out. Perfect example in UK at the moment. There's just as much pasta as usual, but the shelves are empty because of panic buyers. That means normal people have to buy it when they see it rather than when they need it, otherwise they'll be left without. It's so ridiculous. Yeah. I hate to be part of the problem, but I did buy a bit more food than I usually do, so that we have enough for 2 weeks instead of just 1 in the house. I'm not really worried about the virus, but I'm worried that if it comes to my town everybody is going to lose their damn minds, and I won't be able to get anything then. I fully acknowledge that this line of thinking is the problem point, but point I also really want to have mine. The UK is running out of toilet paper right now because people are panic buying it like bricks. The anti-vax movement. Tabloid newspapers. Most people. My birth certificate. Warning may contain nuts. Warnings on packets of nuts. May. You never know. They might be nut-free nuts. Wow. 90% of my karma is this comment. There is actually a good reason for this. Peanuts are not true nuts. Peanut and nut allergies are separate things. Even nut allergies are often towards specific families of nuts. My wife is incredibly allergic to Brazil nuts, but perfectly fine with absolutely every other nut, and peanuts. I digress. But that's the reason why packs of peanuts have a warning of may contain nuts, because they are often processed in the same factory as other nuts. The ban on Kinder eggs in the US. Are people really stupid enough to swallow those eggs whole? Even if they didn't know about the toy, you can't possibly want to deep throat a refine egg, can you? Pretty sure that's just something that got rolled into a larger law about putting non-edible items into edible items. Sure, Kinder eggs aren't deadly, but the law was made to prevent someone from baking a small toy into a loaf of bread and selling it to kids. I have a story about this. A few years ago, I went to a Chuy's with my family. I got a quesadilla and my sister got chicken nuggets. I do not know why. When she bit into one, there was a deep fried ball of plastic inside it. We told the workers, and the manager gave us all the food we got for free and gave my sister a different plate of chicken nuggets. At least it ended up good. No, it was actually due to some dumbasses in the pharmaceutical industry in the 1930s using diethylene glycol to dissolve sulfanilamide medication in order to make it a liquid. Diethylene glycol breaks down into ethylene glycol, which is a poison in the human body. This resulted in the deaths of over 100 people. Well, it might have actually made Kinder reconsider their design. With the old pop-off caps on the inner eggs, it sometimes was hard to get them off. So everyone I know used their teeth to get them off. I'm German and Kinder eggs are a staple in the diet here. Those caps are perfectly child trachea sized and did not have holes in them to allow airflow. With the new design, the cap doesn't come off anymore and the risk of swallowing them is greatly reduced. So at least that improved. July and August having 31 days back to back like that extra day world ended with February, but some people just want to watch the world burn. As those months are named after Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar, they had to have the maximum number of days, being the imperial months. Poor February had to give something up. Do not eat label on silica gel packets. Like, does it actually look like food to anyone? This paper packet in my beef jerky looks good. The current shortage of toilet paper. The subreddit r/entitled. Do not use this drug if you are allergic to this drug. Toilet roll and hand sanitizer shortages. Flat Earth theory. The Tide Pod challenge. Influencers. Kardashians fame. The belief that brown cows give chocolate milk.